Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Awakening Her podcast. How are you doing today, my friend? Welcome to those of you that are new. If this is one of the first episodes you're tuning into, welcome, my friend. And for those of you, my homies that go around the block and hang out and party and learn and grow with me, hello, welcome back. So this episode is actually a little bit different. We are going into the True Transformation Summit starting May 1st. So in real time, I'm taking a break from these weekly episodes, these, conversations that I have with you when it's just me. That sounds very weird, but I'm not meaning it to sound weird. We are going into a month of guest experts, and I do have some solo episodes in there, but it's all with this true transformation focus, which is just a different energy. So I'm so excited for it because you guys, now that I have recorded and I've seen the range of the topics we're covering and the depth of the conversation, it's just so exciting. So I'm really excited for that. And in real time, I feel like it's just before we launch into something big, just before I focus more on celebrating the guests and promoting it and talking about it and, celebrating on Instagram and things like that, focusing on the insider circle. My energy for the next month is going to be in a different place as well. So I kind of wanted to create this episode sort of between me and you about transformation, how I've been talking more about the body and these reflections before we dive into something big. So I have the key things I want to speak on, but I don't have like a big structure. It feels a little bit like the chill, I've got my coffee, I've got, my water, and it just feels like the chill before something really big happens. So I just wanted to record this as a little behind the scenes, a little chat before we head into this big thing that we're doing. So without further ado, I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm excited for it. Take a deep breath. Maybe take a sip of water, drop your shoulders, and let's dive in. So what I've been reflecting a lot on lately is transformation. Obviously, I've been reflecting on it for the last 5 years, 4 years at least, of writing my book and then putting it out into the world. But also for this whole summit, we're talking about true transformation. So I've been thinking about how it happens in layers, which is why I made it week 1, week 2, the mind, the body, and layering through it. And in my own journey, that's how it's been. We talk about growth. We talk about mindset. We talk about emotional healing, awareness. You've gone through these different phases of being more aware of emotional wounds and tools, or maybe phases of communication, or phases of inner child work, or phases where you're doing your money mentality stuff. And all of these phases are so important. And the first thing I want to say is everything that you have done has added up. Nothing has been lost. Nothing has been wasted. In your mind, in your body, in your subconscious, everything you've done to better yourself, all of the self-growth, all of the emotional processing, those random ahas that you seemingly forgot, those all add up. All of the moments that you had awareness that you didn't have before, they all add up, leading you here. So sometimes we feel really behind, or we always feel like we're the caterpillar, but everything you've done is adding up. Even things that felt small or inconsistent, even places you felt like you moved forward, but then maybe felt like you backslid or something didn't pan out. That's not how this works. We are in a forward moving experience. There is no back or behind. Everything you have done has added up. The same way that every step you've taken adds to your total step count, like it's physics, everything you have done. And I'm telling you that everything you've done emotionally, spiritually, the healing, it all adds up. So remember that as you move into this month and in your own transformation. I almost feel like you need to be reminded, maybe I'm not starting from square one when it comes to whatever you're working through right now. Money, even if you're starting square one in business, you're not starting square one in life. You've done hard things before, right? Even if you feel like you haven't moved forward in health, you're not at square one. You know some things that don't work for you. You know some things that maybe do. So remembering that. And then the next thing that I want to say is, as we go through this transformation, and what I've really found looking back over my past year, but even 5 years, is everything has seasons. So just like everything adds up, there are seasons when we're really going through mindset stuff. And that's why I dedicated a whole week in the summit to it, because it is important to see your limiting beliefs. It is important to be aware of your mind and the filter and all of these different aspects. All the seasons you go through in some way are the key or a key. And I want to say it's like nature, right? If there just wasn't a spring, then the whole ecosystem would be fucked, for lack of better words. If there wasn't a winter, if there wasn't a summer, or whatever climate you're at, if you took out something, everything else is out of balance. So in a way, spring is the key to everything, because the flowers are coming and the bees come. But then you could turn around and say, actually, autumn is the key to everything, because the leaves fall and the decomposition, there we go, creates the soil. You could be like, no, the winter is actually important, because if it never got cold, then this wouldn't happen. So you see what I mean? So the mindset is so, so important. And there are seasons where we're doing more of that. There's seasons where we're gaining a deeper understanding of ourselves and rewiring and reframing. And in some ways, we're always doing all of these things, but just being aware that there are seasons. So maybe you've moved out of more, the mindset stuff, and you're in a season of spirituality, or you've moved, you've looked back and there's been seasons where you're really focusing on intuition, and then it becomes maybe more normal, or seasons where you're focusing on your physical health. Seasons where you're focusing on communication or your marriage or your wealth creation. There truly are seasons for everything. And I'm not just saying that as like a vague inspiration. I'm saying it because some of us need to be reminded that we don't have to do everything all the time, master every area of life all the time. If we're called in a direction, and as you move into the summit, like, what's next for you? What season is next for you? Because as you move in different directions, it's more like you gain mastery and progression in different areas. And that's what brings it all together. So you don't have to master it all the time. And I want you to ask yourself right now in life, what feels next for me? Because I know a lot of my clients have done a lot of cool shit and have overcome a lot. And even when we feel like messes, so many of my clients have already done a lot of things and made a lot of changes. So it's good to ask without the flashiness, without just thinking about it like magical manifestation, but more, what season are you in right now? What is calling you? What is next for you? What are you moving through? And so I noticed that I'm in a different season right now than a year ago. And I wish I could tell my year ago self, everything is about to change. But I was in a goo. I was in, alternating between sad and mad and frustrated and all the things. It was a season. It was a shedding. It was a purging. It was a dark night. It was insane. But it was a season that did pass. And I learned so much and I released so much and I lightened the fuck up through that. But it just goes to show that there are seasons for things, and they are on purpose, just like natural seasons or the cycle of the butterfly or anything else, right? So remembering everything has a season and asking yourself, what season are you in right now in the forward slant? What are you going through? What are you moving into? What's next for you? And remembering anytime you try to feel behind or your mind tries to tell you you're behind, you're in a season. And sometimes shit comes up so that it can be moved through. Sometimes things feel challenging because you're in a season of looking deeper at this thing, or you're in a season of, getting honest, or, focusing on your word or healing or money or whatever else, your business, whatever, right? So asking yourself that, what are you being called into next? What area of life is asking for your attention? What season is coming forward, or what are you already in? Another thing I want to say about transformation and about something that's becoming really clear is we need to stop over excavating, is how I want to say it, and start living forward. In our transformation, the cycle of transformation is not stuck or stagnant, it's ever flowing. Everything in nature keeps flowing. Stagnancy is associated with death. Even in a tree or, a pond, stagnancy is associated with sludginess, death, and decay, and it's not the fresh, mineral rich, abundant future that you want, right? So, for healing, for awareness, there's a time to look inward. And now, again, everything you've done has added up. So, you have more tools than ever. So, awareness and healing is important. Understanding yourself, reflecting, being aware is important. And there is also a time to stop digging, a time to stop searching for what's wrong or searching for the next block and start living forward. Start focusing on what you do want, how today can be a better day, how you can make incremental upgrades. Maybe it's making a bold decision or an investment or a commitment in yourself so that you move yourself forward. It's joining a class, it's talking to a friend, it's signing up for a thing, it's getting a mentor, it's whatever it else so that you can. I've done that times where I feel stagnant with fitness, so I hire a trainer, even just for 6 weeks. It like jump starts, oh yeah, working out. Sometimes we do need to do that. But either way, there is a season to stop over excavating, over analyzing why you're the way you are, and start living forward. We are creating our future right now, and you only live once this time. This life is the one you have right now. This body's the one you have right now. This experience is the one you have right now. You're however old you are, and we only live once this time. So it's time to stop digging and trust that when things come up in the future, if all of a sudden like your relationship becomes in focus and that taps on some other thing, you'll have the tools, you'll have resources, you'll go back to therapy, you'll, go back to a book you read. You'll know what to do. You'll figure it out. You're resourceful. You're scrappy. Maybe it's emotional healing or going big in your business. As things come up and you're scared and imposter comes in, you've gained so many tools and you will figure it out. But in the meantime, there's a huge chunk, and my work with my clients has even dramatically shifted. Less excavation. So understanding our past, yes. Understanding some of the core stuff we've been through and our tendencies, yes. But continuing to ask yourself, why have I created this thing I don't want? Or what's wrong with me? Or endlessly digging to try to find the money block, the business block, the body block, it's not going to get you where you want. We want to start living forward. When I start to, notice myself spiraling inward, I come back to a simple question. Well, one of two. I go either, how do I want to feel right now? Or what is actually true? Because when we stop over examining, we stop being stuck in the past version of us and we start looking forward. So I used to spiral. I used to shame myself. I have shared about this recently. I just don't even have, it's weird. It's like, I just don't even have a tolerance. If I start to go like, oh, why aren't I something by now? I'll just stop and I'll put my hand on my heart and I'll ask myself, what do I want to feel right now? And usually I just go to like neutrality. Like I take a breath, space. I don't even go to like, I want to feel like $1 million me sitting in a mansion on a hill. It's like, no. Instead of spiraling, instead of shaming, instead of going there, instead of going, oh, is that my abandonment wound? Is that my mom wound? Is that my this? Just stop and go, what am I going to choose to do from here? How can I start living forward? What do I want more of? You don't need to find what's wrong with you in order to move forward. And I want that to land. That is something that I maybe would have heard a couple years ago, but I see it differently now. I look back and go, oh my goodness, yes. But sometimes we need that excavation time to, again, understand ourselves better, but there's a time to move out of it. You get what I'm saying? So the next thing I want to say too, before this month starts, and just about transformation and my reflections in the past year, do not give up on yourself. Truly, deeply, in your soul, in your root chakra. If you know, you know. Do not give up on yourself. Keep going. Even if it feels sticky, even if it feels unclear or it feels scary and you're not quite sure if you can do the big thing that you're doing, do not give up on yourself. I will say it again. You only live once this time. This time you have this body. And things can change so quickly. Our life can change so quickly. Even though we're here in this human experience on this sort of human timeline-y thing in a meat suit, and we have this quote unquote finite amount of time. There's so many subtopics. Again, if you know, you know. But assuming that, we almost want to open up and go, you're right. Yes, I cannot give up on myself. Even if you felt like everyone else has given up on you, or in your childhood people gave up on you, you are the one to walk yourself home. You are more powerful than you realize. And if you do need a jump start, like how I said, I'll hire a personal trainer or a coach or go back to therapy. Do what you need to do because you are worth it. Things can change and do change so quickly when we reshift our focus, reshift our energy, remember who we are, remember what we want in our life. When we gain energy from others, when we, suck up a bit of wisdom from a coach or from a book or something, things can change so fast. And this life is ticking on, fire horse energy, all the stuff. And that is not pressure. I want you to breathe if you feel pressure. It's not pressure. It's the inspiration that tomorrow is unwritten. And do not give up on yourself. Even if right now you kind of go like, oh, yes, like I'm worth it. I'm creating a more peaceful life for myself. I can do it. And whether it's I can write the book somehow, or I can get out of this space somehow, or I can build a multiple 7-figure business somehow, whatever it is, keep going. I just smacked the desk because I'm getting very powerful. Sorry about that. You only live once this time. This is the meat suit, the body, the cells, the experience that you have right now. But life is always changing. Life is always regenerating and reorganizing. You can start creating a different tomorrow right now. And sometimes in the excavation, it just feels like we're always at the bottom of a mountain. But again, everything you've done has added up. And what if you are more magical and more sparkly and more resilient and even more magnetic than you think? But part of the problem is we think we can't do it and we're all up in our head. And I get it totally. But please keep going. Face the light. Live for tomorrow. Do not give up on yourself. This all of a sudden sounds like a TED Talk, but it's coming through strong because transformation will pull you through the mind, the body, the expansion, the spirit, the soul, and it can get intense. Big dreams require bravery and a big life and a lot of like, holy fuck, can I really do this moments, right? But you are more powerful than you know. Do not give up on yourself. Keep going. If you need to even pause, take some time on your own to reflect or do the thing to make sure you're moving forward, you are worth it. And you only need to take one next step, not the whole path, but it's about staying in the game and choosing your tomorrow and choosing that you're worth it and choosing to continue moving forward and investing in yourself, not just money, but also time, love. Like I'll think about that. And I know a year ago, something like health and movement was really important to me, but I wasn't investing in that goal at all. And I don't mean money in that way. I mean actually just doing yoga, moving my body, going on walks. How much energy, time, focus, love, attention, or money are you investing into the things that you deeply desire? Because it's when we put that investment forward that energy starts to change. If you now spend 5, 7, 12, 15 minutes walking every day or 3 times a week, that adds up. Now you became someone that like you invested the time, so things changed. You invested the focus in walking or in writing your book or in putting yourself out there in the business or whatever it is. So remembering that like, you can keep going by investing in what is most important to you, pouring love, pouring attention, belief, pouring that type of energy into what you want, investing your energy into it, makes things change. So small things, small moments of meditation, moments of positive self-talk, you're investing that time, that focus into yourself to be more loving, all the way into investing money, investing, resources to make things change, whatever feels right for you in this season. But really, do not give up on yourself. Your dreams are worth it. You are worth it. Okay, the next thing I want to say, and I'm going to start to wrap it up fairly soon, but I know I've been talking about a lot for those of you that tune in. Your body is the portal. So at some point last year, I think part of my frustration is that I got to this place where I was like, pardon my French, I might swear a lot, but I was like, I know so fucking much, meaning I've done self-growth since I was like literally 12 and, went to counseling and therapy and had psychology books, and the amount of awareness of shadow. And I know you can see yourself in this, like we've done the things, and it's like, I'm so self-aware and I'm so intuitive. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm more going, I was at this point where I was like, what the actual fuck? At some point, all this shit I've learned has to land, right? It has to change my life, right? And what I realized only now, looking back, it was not all in my head because I knew a lot of stuff, but it was that energy of knowing things and being aware of things, but not landing it in my body. So what that looked like is I knew all this stuff. I had a lot of emotional awareness. I had healed a lot of things, all that stuff, but my body felt like crap. I was overstimulated. I was overwhelmed. I was undernutritioned. I would criticize myself. It depends what point of my journey we're talking about, but from chronic pain and inflammation to self-judgment and criticism and eating disorder earlier in my life, like I felt even after all the work I'd done, I was still in pain. I was still overstimulated. I was still very up and down. I didn't feel great. And that now, as I say, I can only see now looking back, that was a huge part of what shifted as I've talked about lightening up and sending my cells light energy. And I was sending so much stressful energy to my body that how was I expected to live this like miraculous life? It was a huge awareness. It was like, I know all this stuff. I'm quote unquote manifesting. I'm even meditating. I'm doing things. Why isn't it working? Why do I feel like crap? So starting to realize the feeling like crap was the part that was actually hindering the rest to land. The money, the success. And I'm not just saying like this one click and now everything's better, but I can see it now in a different way. I was neglecting my nervous system first and foremost. I wasn't even aware of it. What you don't know, you don't know. It's called the blind spot. I had no idea. My energy, my capacity to hold my life was just not good. So the body had to shift. And that's where transformation becomes real. And that's why the nervous system work is so important, but it's beyond that. It's hard to put it into words. Because when you learn how to feel okay in your body, how to even thrive in your body, your capacity to hold more, your unfuckable with energy is it's like the better it gets, more and more momentum. And it started in the nervous system. It didn't start for me with like, oh, here's a nutrition plan and then I'm going to exercise and now I feel great. It actually was in those subtle moments of learning how to hold myself, learning to notice when I was dysregulated and knowing what to do, knowing how to walk myself through it, becoming so much more grounded. All of a sudden, my relationship with my body changed from the nervous system out, which then changed all this stuff that I had been trying to do from the results in. Oh my gosh, that doesn't make sense. But I'd been trying to exercise more. I'd been trying to feel better in my body. I'd been trying to have better digestion. I was trying to lessen my pain. I was trying to feel better in my skin and my weight. I was trying to not feel so puffy. My hormones, my hair had been falling out. I was trying all those things one problem at a time. But as I learned my body and my nervous system, it's like the rest just became natural and lived. It's hard to put it into words, but what I want to say is in your body, if you feel not at ease, or if there's an area there, this could be what's next for you. Because the work really, really lands even more. Like if you felt like I don't experience the results for all the work I've put in, all the self-awareness I have, if you feel that and you're resonating with the body piece, that could very easily be that next step, especially if things about nervous system and, things about this have been coming into your sphere lately and you're seeing it everywhere and you really want to understand it more. This could very well be the next step for you. It's just changed my life. It's changed my perception. It's changed the way my body handles even pain flare-ups. It's crazy. It's blowing my mind day by day, which is why I'm so passionate about it. And now I can look back on like the last year and really see such a difference. And it wasn't that I learned a whole bunch of new stuff. It was everything I already knew got to land. And you know what I'm talking about. But it landed in my body, which was the thing I was like trying to fix. It's hard to put into words, but it was such a powerful shift. So I want to remind you of that and remind you that we can do all the things and we can achieve a lot and even create success or inner transformation or boundaries, like wealth. We can create things. But if you don't feel well in your body, meaning landed in your body, if you're tired, if you're overwhelmed, if your digestion is chronically off, or you have, quote unquote, mystery pain, inflammation, muscle tension, these different things, it's the energy being stored in your body. And so your body needs to, yes, release that, but that actually comes in a little bit after we start regulating and finding that center, finding what your energy is, finding just how to simply calm yourself in a very like authentic and effective way. And then as we start to do that, we start to be able to be somebody who actually feels different. We start to feel like we, again, are responding to life differently. We are not just overwhelmed and overstimulated and trying to do all the things. We are being it. We are being the person that we came here to be. We are being her, to bring it back to why this whole podcast is called the Awakening Her Podcast. Because that's not just in what we know, but again, what we know adds up. So you take everything you've learned, bringing it into your body. If you've walked a similar path like me, if you're resonating with this, it becomes the piece that really locks it all in. And because we're going to be taking a little bit of a real-time break in the next month, I wanted to share this with you now. You can also watch for it on social media. Come find me on Instagram if we're not already friends over there. The link is below. Or of course, you can join the wait list. But what I'm talking about, but I have something very exciting going on. And if this whole episode has been speaking directly to you, if the most recent episodes and my message in general, especially around healing and ascension and manifestation, but then also with the body, the nervous system, digestion, weight, food, these types of things, if this resonates with you and it's something that you've navigated, it's a personal journey you've been on as well, this is for you, boo. Okay, so you've been on. This is for you, boo. Okay, so you have achieved a lot. We've been talking about this. You've moved through a lot. You have overcome a lot. You've healed a lot. But the missing piece is in the body because you've done the mindset work and you continue to do it. You're doing the healing work. You've been doing that. You're doing the emotional work. Check, right? And it hasn't fully landed yet, as we're talking about in this episode. So this is your system, your body, your nervous system. And this is where transformation truly integrates and lands. Everything you learn and uncover and all the breakthroughs then trickle down to open up the portal of your body, to have you bring it into the body and be able to thrive. When you thrive in your body, confidence comes. Things to thrive. And this is the piece that most people were not taught to work with. And from my perspective, not just as a And this is the piece that most people were never taught to work with, the body, right? And from my perspective, not just as a coach, but from someone who really tunes into energy, as a channel, as someone who has one foot in that world, as a lot of you do, and someone who feels things on a much deeper level, I can see this now so clearly. As you open energetically, you expand spiritually. You can, receive more insights, clarity, download, next aligned actions, and then of course manifestations, abundance, all of this. But if your body doesn't feel but if your body doesn't feel safe enough to hold it, it won't land. So if you've struggled with the body in all the ways I've talked about, plus manifestation or abundance or health, you can't get into that thriving area yet, this is why. So this work can sometimes look separate from the spiritual work. It can look separate from the manifestation work, but it's absolutely not. And it's what allows it to root in your life. And straight up, this work that I'm talking about and in this new program and everything in this episode, this is the energy that most importantly allows you to thrive, to feel good, to not have morning anxiety attacks or laying in bed at night feeling tense. This is where we can start to calm and not be defensive or on guard or tense in our muscles all the time. This is where we turn expansion into something real. We turn our growth into something very physical. And this is where it all comes together, as I've been mentioning in this episode. So because I've learned this so deeply and then been schooled in it the last couple of years and then had absolutely transformative results for the last 6 to 8 months, now is the time that I'm teaching it to you guys. Now is the time that it's ready. I'm called vigorously through my purpose to teach this because so many of us, especially women, have been through all this work I'm talking about, but are not thriving in our bodies. And when I cut all the fluff and say, if you're not thriving in your body, it is very hard to thrive in your life. So I want to just go into some details for just a second, and then we're going to wrap up the episode with something powerful that I still want to say. So I've created this space. I believe it's going to be a 12. So I've created this space. It's a 12-week. So I've created the space. It's a 12-week experience that brings everything you've already done into your body, into your nervous system, where we're learning about our body as a biological and physiological organism, but also how we relate to it, how our soul lands in it, how we experience life. And so what this looks like during the program, we spend 12 weeks working with, learning about, and practicing thriving in your body. So we're starting with nervous system regulation, of course. This is what I'm talking about so much, so that you're not constantly feeling anxious or overwhelmed or doing the crash and burn thing or the full gas and then we crash out thing, the all or nothing, or just feeling like you're running on empty. This is where the nervous system regulation creates the safety in the very beginning. We need to unguard. We need to relax. We need to use these simple tools and learn them so that we understand ourselves so much more. So from there, we move into supporting the body through nourishment and energy, understanding how food and rest and your daily rhythms and your habits and drinking water and all these things impact how you feel. So this is going to help you to understand your body, to know what to feed it so that you can thrive, how to move in a way that really works in your life. Like, listen, I'm very busy. I'm a mom of 3. I've had a history of an eating disorder and an up and down relationship with my body. So learning food from a holistic and love-based perspective, learning movement and exercise from a love-based perspective really changed my life. And we're going to dive deep into that. We're also then, as we move through the program, going to talk about the emotional and the energetic layers. So learning how to move through what comes up without spiraling. Also learning how to release stored tension, learning what your body is telling you, learning to decode in a different way the patterns that your body has been either holding on to or displaying, and how to actually read that. So as things begin to regulate, we shift into rebuilding trust with your body. So you're no longer overriding yourself, actually just learning to hear what you need. And as you guys have been hearing over the last few months, I can now hear what my body's saying on a pain day, or if I'm exhausted, or if I'm anxious. We can start to learn and listen and tune in to what your body is saying so you can respond with tools that we're also going to learn. So this is going to create new habits and rhythms that really stick. You're going to experience feeling heard and understood. And the power of gathering with people who have been on this self-growth, healing, manifestation journey, but have also, with that, it seemed separate, struggled to be in their skin. When we get all of us together to connect, to see that you're not alone, but also learning that we have this missing piece that we didn't realize, it's going to be so powerful. And through all of this, we're going to move into a more body-led way of living. So understanding your body as a physical shell, understanding its needs, learning to relate to it in love, eat in love, move in love, doing it, moving into this most thriving dream body frame through love, through aligned decisions and aligned actions, not through force, not through willpower, not through diets, not through restriction, not through overdoing anything. You are going to learn to move into a body-led way of living where your intuition is very on fire when it comes to your body and then to your whole life. So instead of constantly feeling like you're trying to fix yourself, especially as summer comes and a lot of people feel pressure because your arms are out or you're in a bathing suit and you don't feel great in your skin, this is going to be an incredible program to help you come back into your body. And although this program isn't based in, you're going to lose 20 pounds or you're going to get into the best shape of your life or you're going to fix all your stuff, it's not based in that. The life-changing results that I have seen in the last 8 months, from losing over 40 pounds to my digestion feeling solid no matter what I eat, to my energy being more regulated, to feeling more unstoppable and confident and solid in my frame, to just feeling more me, feeling more resilient, all these things I'm saying, building trust, this is what this work does. So if you've been resonating, I'm not going to go on and on. I've already gone on a lot, but I would love to see you in this program where we blend it all, the physical, the emotional, the spiritual, and focusing on truly bringing it into the body. So check the link in the show notes below to get on the list, just to have all the information, to get first access and see if it's really for you. And whether or not you join the program or get on the wait list, I really want to remind you today that your body is precious and that we cannot ignore our body. So whether it's tools to regulate, or it's sleep, or it's drinking your water, or it's nurturing your body with nutrition, supplements, whatever feels good for you, it's not about a should. It's not about some perfect end result or losing weight or anything else. Your body is important. It's the vessel through which you experience your life. So the times you feel better in your body, which is maybe like you've had an incredible amount of rest, or you had a great massage that just released all this tension, or maybe you went on a vacation and you just felt relaxed when you came home, you had a day off, you had a great meditation, whatever it is, times where you feel good in your body are times when you feel like you're thriving. That feeling after a workout, that feeling after you go for a nice walk or a hike, the feeling after working out with weights, like that's where we feel unstoppable, which then turns on our intuition, our inspiration, our magnetism, our life force energy, our unfuckable with force energy. So I want to remind you of that it's not from a should. Honoring your body is so important. And if it's been the piece that feels like it hasn't been the thing that's had the focus, and I'm not talking body goals, I'm talking nurturing your frame, from rest to water to food to movement to nature to sunlight, honoring your body, looking after it as a biological organism. I know, super sexy, hey? So if your body feels like it's holding tension, if your body has not been the one that's gotten the love or the attention or the season yet, that will be the missing piece. That will be the piece that just anchors everything else into this experience, which also allows you to just manifest so much easier and feel joyful and feel light and not always take shit personally and not feel so heavy and lost and just feel lighter, lightening up. I swear it starts in the body. So get some good rest, drink your water. You are worth it. You feel so good after a long sleep. If you've been called internally, your intuition's been saying to book that massage, or book the personal trainer, or go for a walk right now. Nurturing your body will always allow you to feel better. From a bath, to some breath work, to a massage, to taking your vitamins. It is the portal in which you experience this life. And let's face it, we've put it through a lot of steps, a lot of maybe drugs, alcohol, debacles, whatever it is, debauchery, a lot of late nights, maybe it's stress, studying, or times we have abused it in some way, or times where things have happened to us, camping. I mean, all the things we've done to our body. And it's still here, and it's still serving us. It's still regenerating. It's still here to serve us. And things like hips, we can work with our hips. We can work with our immune system. We can work with our strength. We can work with, drinking water. We have so much control in a good way how we experience this life. And so much of it, we can at least just start with our body. So as I said, get some good rest tonight. Drink your water, take your multi or your magnesium or whatever makes all the difference for you. And I really hope that you have a fantastic time in the True Transformation Summit this month. And again, if the body stuff is striking you, if this feels like your next chapter, get on the list so I know you're interested, so you can be in, get the best price, first registry. And I believe we're actually going to do it over the summer, which even if that brings changing schedules for people and all that, it's the perfect time to create this dream life body, this regulation, this calm through the storm, this time for you. The sun is shining, things are happening. Life doesn't always clear the calendar for us to do things. We need to be the willing participant. We need to move ourselves forward. We need to live for tomorrow. So making that decision for yourself, if it resonates, will skyrocket you into this education, this energy, this next level. So get on the wait list. Enjoy the summit, my friend. Love you lots. Check the show notes. Come see me on Instagram, and I will see you on the other side. Bye.